Okay, Bruce.
Okay, we're gonna vote on it?
We're going to begin the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We begin tonight's meeting with approval of village board meeting minutes from April 3rd, 2025. Motion?
Second.
Any additions, deletions, corrections, comments?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And second item is a special presentation from Matt Hunt.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Board. I'm here on behalf of the Greater Baldwinsville Chamber of Commerce for authorization for the 2025 Taste of Beeville event. We're looking to host that on Saturday, September 20th, on Paper Mill Island. That will run from noon to 10 p.m., setup starting around 9 a.m. That morning. Jody has all the paperwork.
Yeah, everything's in. Insurance is approved.
Okay.
Same as usual, typical food vendors, music.
Do we do a waiver? A waiver?
Yeah, we usually do an open container, so yeah, we would like to request open container waiver.
What hours are you looking for that?
The 9 hours, noon to 10.
Okay.
Waiving half the park fee. And then, I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but we also generally get the dumpster fee waived because we bring in our own dumpster.
You don't get waived, you don't get assessed it.
Correct, yes. The proper phrasing of that is, sorry. That's it.
No.
Pretty much it. Questions?
Nope.
Looking forward to it.
We have a slew of volunteers that take care of garbage all day long and go back on Sunday and clean up the park so it's nice and clean when we're done.
Looking at the agenda, I don't see
Item A.
Remember?
It's item A?
Pending.
No, I didn't look at it.
Remember you said you didn't go down far enough the other day?
Yeah, okay. So unless there's questions for Matt,
Good.
Thank you.
good to go, we'll act
Appreciate it.
on it.
Thanks, man.
Second item on special presentations is Pam and Julie from Church on the Island.
Good evening, I'm Pam Ponbianco, Julie Livin,
I didn't dare try to pronounce your name.
and we are representing Church on the Island, non-denominational early morning church group. We are backed by the First Methodist Church, but we have pastors from all over Baldwinsville that give our services, and we're seeking approval to once again hold it from Father's Day, June 15th, through Labor Day Sunday weekend, August 31st, from 7 to 9.
7 to 9, wow.
Yeah. Well, we set up 7 in the morning to 9 in the morning. We set up.
2-hour sermon.
No, it's really a half an hour. It's an 8 o'clock service, half an hour. It's a quick one. And we would invite everyone to come. Normally we have about
40 to 45 or so people every week. We had a total of 613 people participate in the 12 weeks last year. And there's some that are very faithful in terms of coming every year. They love it.
Good. Glad to see you back here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to citizens' comments on agenda items. Does anyone wish to speak to any of the agenda items? Seeing no one, we'll move on to trustees' comments, and I think it's on Donna's side.
I think it is, yes. Well, I just want to address one thing that came up in the DPW meeting this evening. I asked Taryn if he'd be willing to do some educational tours of DPW facilities for trustees, and his answer was yes. And so, you know, we all can agree on a date and time. We can learn more about how this village is really run.
Okay.
And
And
otherwise,
that will be coming up in the future when dates and times
Yes.
are,
yes,
as opposed to putting Karen on the spot right now.
yes.
I'd like,
Well, no, I mean, Karen seems quite willing to do
I'll
it.
do an email blast
Yeah, that'd be cool.
sometimes.
Yeah,
how about when you're plowing?
ride shotgun. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Wingman.
But otherwise,
I'm pretty
I'll
sure the
follow
union
agenda.
would bucket that roof.
I don't know, the police department used to do ride-alongs for new trustees. I mean, maybe the snowplow guys could do it.
Why not?
We can still do ride-alongs. We won't even make you sit in the back.
Good for us to know, you know, how we get our water and how all these
Plans
other
really are
important
very
functions.
interesting,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
encourage
Really cool.
everyone to
Okay,
take the tour.
Otherwise, I'll follow the agenda.
thank you. Nate?
Yeah, I'll just stick with the agenda tonight.
Okay. Just want to mention again about the Memorial Day Parade on May 30th. It's a Friday at 5:45 p.m. sharp.
That impacts traffic a little bit in Paulsville, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And
Slightly.
I believe it starts around 5.
So for all the folks in the village who each year say they didn't know the parade was happening on the 30th, because Memorial Day was on Monday,
Yeah,
the parade's gonna happen.
yes.
Yep.
And it will be not an inconvenience, but a celebration.
A memorialization.
Okay.
All right. But other than that, I'm good.
Okay.
I just wanted to comment that I'm excited to have utilized the new pedestrian crosswalks that are out in the village and pushed the button and had the little flashings go off. And
Which crosswalk? Because I keep trying.
I've used the one, actually all 3 of them.
You've used them all.
I used all 3 of them today because I was out on a walk at lunchtime and I went up and I did the one on Brown
You
Street.
must have turned them on in the last
And
day or so.
yeah, they've definitely been on this week. I don't know exactly what day, but, and they seem to work. My one concern on the one here on Syracuse Street is I'm not sure the traffic coming up over the canal bridge can
That's the right
see
side
either of them where they are. And they're also, the lights are on the opposite corner of where the actual crosswalk is painted. So I don't know if the plan is to move the crosswalk to where the buttons are for the people to actually push.
Yeah, normally the state does their striping and painting towards middle of summer, so I imagine that's when they did it.
Okay. So anyway, I know it's been a long time coming. Thank you, Chief, for your efforts in getting them to Baldwinsville, and then we just had to wait for them to get installed. So I was excited to see them installed and then be able to use them and see that they seem to work.
And according to our conversation, we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer for people to realize they're there and actually start using them that are driving.
Yeah, and I pedestrians too, because I also saw several pedestrians who didn't notice that it was there available for them to use. So.
And once they're out there, we need to remind pedestrians that just because you push the button, don't go walking out in front of cars.
Exactly.
I was driving today, or yesterday, on East Genesee Street, and somebody pushed the button and I saw it. It definitely drew your attention.
Good.
So,
Good, yeah, it's hard for me to know what it looks like from the traffic
as you're heading
perspective.
west, there was a no parking sign. I do want to look at that a little bit more. There's a no parking sign there that tends to block the flasher, so I want to take a look at that and work over the town and then might reach out to DOT and see if that can be relocated a little bit, maybe back to the east a little bit as you're traveling west. Again, there's going to be a learning curve. It's not going to be instantaneous that it's going to be helpful, but you know, and it's a whole huge improvement over what we had.
Yes.
We'll try to get a website and a Facebook
Yeah,
post.
I was gonna say, I was gonna turn to our cameraman, who has in the past indicated that he might be willing to create some sort of PSA for us. And so this might be a good time to put it together and get it out there on PAC-B, and we can share it on our website and Facebook pages and whatnot, and make sure pedestrians and drivers know that it's here.
Very good.
And I've only seen them during the day. I bet they're even more impressive at nighttime.
So, other than that, I will stick to the agenda.
Okay,
The agenda's good with me too, thanks.
okay.
Stick to the agenda.
Okay, I have very limited things that I want to mention. Wanted to call an executive session for a contractual item. So that becomes item what?
H.
And then, just as a shout out to things that we've already received reservations for. Central River Days is probably the first thing on June 13th and 14th out on the island. I think Friday night, there's 2 or 3 bands, Custom Tailor Band's one of them, along with fireworks. Then on July 25th, and I'm going to get them wrong, the Head and Heart Band, something like that.
Yeah.
Will be out there. And this will be a case where you mentioned if there was a food truck event the night before, we'd be looking for probably 2 tips. Shakespeare in the Park is all set for August 7th. That'll be on the island. The Flotsam River Circus is coming August 15th, but that will probably be on Marble Street. Because they want a slope where they can put their little riverboat down below and people can sit and enjoy that. And we'll have to let the ice cream place know to make sure they stay open. Both ice cream places. And then we now have on September 30th, Taste of Baldwinsville.
September
20th. And that's what it says on my sheet of paper. I just can't read. And church on the island every Sunday during the summer. Other than that, I don't recall if there's anything I need to add. So we'll move on to department heads. Over to Bob.
I'll stick with the agenda.
I will stick with the agenda.
Okay.
Just the agenda item. Just the agenda item I have is 2 budget modifications, very small, but it was an omission from one a couple of meetings ago that I don't know how it just got overlooked on my end and didn't get put on there. So it's on there, and that should bring last year to a nice tidy end.
Okay. Mark, do you want to mention what we talked about reconstituting the
Oh, yeah.
committee?
I went to a webinar yesterday. I attended a webinar yesterday from the state comptroller about fiscal cliff and financial statement analysis and that kind of stuff. And they were pretty adamant that there needs to be an active finance committee in the village government, not just me. So I know we had one. It was like sort of active for a little while, but we need to reconstitute that. And it needs to do things like review financial statements every month and be the liaison from me to the board than me just sitting here telling you about it, because it's a lot of minutia that doesn't need to come to the board, but somebody needs to know about it, and then they may deem that it needs to go to the board.
The blasts that I get daily from NY Class that I've never been able to open. Is there something in them? Do you look at them? Do you know?
I don't know what they are. I mean, the only time I get stuff from them is when I'm active with them, which is frequently. It's really every week.
Yeah, I go
That's-
too, I think they're
Seems
just
like
like a
almost every day.
when transactions have happened or,
Yeah, so it could be a confirmation of when I'm
Yeah.
like moving money.
That's what I've always assumed it is,
So,
doing something. I talked to them at the NICOM conference and they were gonna take care
Yeah.
of that. But
we move money frequently with them, and just so you're assured, the whole board's assured, there's nothing that I can do there outside the parameters of the village. The accounts that money can move to and from are defined by the board in a setup that I can't change. So I can't do anything to move money anywhere except within the confines of the Village of Baldwinsville accounts. It's physically impossible for me to do it, as a protection for you and for me. So, and to give you some comfort on that, but
the Outdoor Senior Center, Renee?
I will stick to the agenda tonight.
Okay. Karen, you're up.
We got DPW crews going around, picking up yard waste, brush. We just asked, please keep it on the side of the road, not in the road. Also, with the weather turning here, we're gonna be doing plow damage repairs in the right of way. You'll see our crews out putting topsoil, and eventually they'll come around and seed, hydroseed, and mulch those locations.
Got all the mailboxes back in place?
I'm sure we missed a few, but when we see them, we'll fix them.
and you mentioned the parks, bathrooms and docks and stuff too.
Yes,
Your
we're gonna
schedule
be
for those.
opening up the parks bathrooms this week. And as of April 15th, DEC allows us to start putting docks in, and we'll start putting up in docks end of this coming week. So all the docks and the kayak launches will be in as well.
I hope that will be more reliable than the ending of the parking thing in terms of proclamation of spring. Immediately snowed as soon as the police department put out
Put out our Facebook post, yeah.
anything else there?
I'm all set.
Moving on to the chief.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple items at your next village board meeting on May 1st. We're going to be presenting Sergeant Jason Gwynn and Officer Dylan Hardesty with our Departmental Medal of Valor, which is the highest award that we can issue to a member for their actions back in January at the fire up on Legacy Drive. We'll have some snippets of the video from their body cameras, and I think anyone in attendance will be impressed by their bravery and gallantry that they displayed running into that fully engulfed building with no other protection on than what I'm currently wearing at the present time, which is certainly not what a firefighter would wear. So I am looking forward to that and doing that with them. I would ask this board, we've blocked out July 3rd and 4th is on our schedule, potential days for some promoter possibly to have an event on the island, including fireworks. That if someone's going to do that, they have to notify us and have applications in by June 1st. Because we're going to have to receive some assistance from other agencies as well as try and schedule for that. And that's not something we can do last minute. That's the absolute latest we could possibly do that. So if that's not going to occur, that's fine. We're going to then open it up and allow some people to take time off. But right now, we are not allowing people to take those 2 days off, one of which includes my 60th birthday. So we'll see what happens. But if we have to work, we certainly will. But we're going to need to know no later than that date with applications in for fireworks and things along those lines by then. If the board could please agree to that, I would be, and the rest of us would be most appreciative that we're going to have to try and cobble together a schedule for that event. Thank you.
That's good.
Other than that, no other questions or comments, Mayor. Nothing else to say unless there's questions.
Questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Pending business, can I have a motion to waive the Paper Mill Island open container for the Taste of Ballsville on Saturday, September 20th, 2025, and that the Paper Mill Island fee be reduced to $500.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
You're all set, Matt.
Yep.
And Mary Ann, I'm sorry.
And Melody.
That's
Okay,
right.
Millie's over there.
I'm sorry I'm beeping, my insulin's really off tonight.
Okay, moving on to item B, motion to approve the waiver of the Paper Mill Island rental fee for Sundays in the summer for the First Methodist Church on the island events. I'm sorry, I got thrown by the apostrophe after Methodist. Okay. Event runs from June 15th through August 31st.
Motion.
Second.
Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All set. Moving on to new business. Hey, can I have a motion to proclaim May 30th, 2025 as Memorial Day in the village of Baldwinsville?
Motion. Okay, you guys got it. Go ahead. They did it.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Along with this comes a proclamation.
That's why you're proclaiming.
Okay, whereas Memorial Day is a time to reflect upon the past, remembering those who guaranteed our freedoms, and to set aside a day to honor the accomplishments of men and women of valor and courage. And whereas our founding fathers had the wisdom to assure freedom guaranteed and protected by the Constitution of the United States, and whereas Americans who have answered the call to service in the defense of our nation in time of war represent the highest form of citizenship. And whereas the men and women who served in the armed forces of the Grand Army of the Republic, the Spanish-American War, World Wars I and II, Korea, Vietnam, the Persian Gulf, the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, and now the war on terrorism, have made heroic sacrifices to preserve freedom. And whereas we honor the memory of those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice to protect the United States of America and our allies, and whereas the Baldwinsville Memorial Day Committee wishes to keep the traditional day of May 30th as the day to commemorate Memorial Day in Baldwinsville, and whereas Memorial Day was established by General Order Number 11 on May 5th, 1868, to commemorate fallen comrades who died in defense of their country, and whereas we remember veterans of all wars and show our appreciation with our vigilance, ensuring that they did not die in vain. And therefore, I, Bruce Stebbins, Mayor of the Village of Baldwinsville, County of Onondaga, State of New York, declare Friday, May 30th, 2025 to be Memorial Day in the Village of Baldwinsville to honor those men and women who gave their lives to preserve the principles of freedom. And then it says I sign it. And you wanted this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Item B.
you. Did we vote on that? Or did
Do you
we-
vote on a proclamation?
You have to finish up the motion.
Oh, we
Yeah.
haven't voted on a motion
We
yet?
got the first and the second, we
Oh.
just didn't do the vote.
Should I have done it before?
Oh.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's why you have a copy here.
Nah, I think we should vote it first, because
Right,
if you voted it down,
right.
Are we good,
wouldn't have
Jenny?
been able to proclaim it.
it looked pretty bad for me. Okay, item B. How about a motion to declare Friday, April 25th, 2025 as Arbor Day in the Village of Baldwinsville?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have another proclamation to read. And I want to double check, Taryn, you're going to plant a tree that day. Okay. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees to be called Arbor Day, which was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can prevent the erosion of topsoil by wind and water, reducing heating and cooling costs, moderate global temperature, purify the air while producing life-giving oxygen and providing habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource providing us paper products, lumber for construction and furniture, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our village increase property values, beautify our community, and generally improve the quality of life in the village. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy, and whereas Baldwinsville has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation for 37 consecutive years and plans to continue our tree planting efforts, I therefore, Bruce Stebbins, Mayor of the Village of Baldwinsville, do hereby proclaim April 25th, 2025 as Arbor Day in the Village of Baldwinsville, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant native trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. I'm going to sign it.
We already
I
said
know,
you could.
but I haven't signed it yet. So. And where, do you know where you're planting the tree?
In the ground.
I didn't know if that was the one in the square.
What's that?
I didn't know if you were, that's where you were transplanting the tree in the square.
I don't think it's gonna be lined up for that.
Okay. Well, when you figure out where that ground is, we can announce it at a public meeting. Okay.
Not before, we don't have another public meeting before that date.
Huh. Well, you'll have to get that information to the clerk so she can put it on the website. If anybody wants to know where the tree will be planted on Arbor Day, please call DPW and ask for Karen. Okay, item C, motion to affirm the local law regarding 48 Salina Street that the Syracuse Onondaga County Planning Agency? Okay, has ruled without objection.
Motion.
Second.
I just would note that they said that there was, the project had just local, it was only a local issue and we should do that, which we had. They also suggested that, as they often do, gee, if you can put in buffers and if you can do some things in the property, that would be nice. And also they suggested having sidewalks along Wood Street at the entrance there would be a really good idea. So I just point that out. That wasn't a condition, that just was a suggestion.
This was echoed to the planning board?
Sorry?
These things were echoed to the planning board from Saco?
Yeah, this is from, this was the planning board, we had to refer the zoning local law to them. They acted on it and sent it back and said everything's fine.
And the way, if you remember what we did is that unless they change something to the site plan or something, they don't have to go back through planning.
Right.
You saw Ben's letter. They contacted and wanted to know if there's anything else, and I said as long as your work's interior, coordinate with the codes office.
Right.
If you decide to when you get to the point of improving the exterior, you're gonna have to talk to planning or architectural review board, one of those.
And I think that would be the time to tell them that, or to look maybe at the frontage and the buffering of the trees and so forth.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Item D, discussion action to set fee schedule for events on Paper Mill Island and along the wall. And the reason for this is because we have a flat $1,000 fee, which is prohibitive for smaller activities going out on the island. And we didn't discuss the wall. So for our discussions, do you want to make a motion, Ruth? Apparently not.
I think we decided on 100.
That was the monetary, yes,
Okay.
for the island.
Okay. Well, I'd like to make a motion then to set the fee schedule for events on Paper Mill Island at a $100 fee. And then along the wall, that's the part we did not discuss. Or are we going to keep that at 100 as well? We did not discuss that.
I would assume we would have the same sort of issues. We'd have to,
There's no dumpster
I
there.
was gonna say, do we usually have a dumpster over along there? No.
Yeah,
So,
aesthetically. Not really.
I'd say $100 is a good fee, since we don't have a dumpster there. We'd have to
Well,
move the,
This might be a situation where we, as a village, do put out the garbage cans, and then we do collect them when they're done, and we do transport them back to the DPW. So I wouldn't mind, like Ruth said, keeping it exactly the same, because there's more costs essentially involved in doing that than being able to dump it in a dumpster that's on site.
Okay. That's just for events, so.
Could you modify your motion to say for minor events?
No.
I don't want, because it's
small
a,
events, yeah.
yes, for small events.
events, yeah, that we would waive that. Or it would be $100.
It'd be $100.
Yeah,
It'll be the nominal fee. that-
it would be $100, yes.
There's the ambiguity, though, that you didn't want. Let's define small event.
We should take this up at the next meeting.
Yeah, keep discussion.
Well, I think for this purpose, we are talking specifically about the food truck events. So if we want to just make the motion
Yeah.
For the food truck.
specific to
proposed.
the food truck events for
Specifically
the
to-
Baldwinsville Center for the Arts, then I think that would,
And along the wall was for the art.
right, for their art walk, yeah. I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
So make this narrow.
$100.
Now
I
we
think a
focus
flat
on
fee of
Rhode
$100
Island.
for events on the wall and on Paper Mill Island.
For the Baldwinsville Center for the Arts.
Yes.
For their
Baldwin.
summer 2025
Season.
season.
Did you get that?
If they choose to do those.
Yes. Okay. Is that good?
Is there a second?
Second.
I need a motion.
Oh, you didn't hear the motion? Ruth made it.
Ruth was the motion.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Nate.
Megan was the editor.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposition? Carried. Motion E, a motion to approve the salary rates for the 2025 budget year.
Move.
Is this-
26 budget year.
Oh, yeah. Okay. 25, 26. We always done this, or is it another one of you cleaning up
We
things?
started doing it last year. It's a cleanup from, it's something that's just good business that I was on the town's websites a couple of years ago and noticed that both towns do it
Yeah.
and other governments do it. So it's a good practice to make sure that we have common understanding of what that is.
Okay.
who did the second?
I don't know if there even was a
Nobody
motion.
yet. I've made the motion.
Yeah.
Second.
No, you started the discussion before we had a second.
Sorry. All in favor? Any questions? Did everybody have a chance to look at it?
I did look at it.
Yes, I did.
We will talk later. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item F, motion to approve budget modifications as proposed in the document 2025-04-17, budget modifications for 2024-2025 budget.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions?
Was this, Mark, the difference between the .43 and the .4, was this just, I remember we doing just,
.43 is projects.
Lining.
And if the projects don't get done, there's a significant amount of money left in that budget usually. So when there's other budget lines that were either misbudgeted or we had unexpected costs there and they went over, it's a place to get the money from.
okay.
So this is from March 6th, which is the first abstract after the end of the year. And it's when people have invoices that have lagged and they're for the previous year, budget year. And
Okay.
so it's typical, we do it every year, but it just, in the all the stuff that goes on in that first couple weeks of March, I did it for sewer and did it for general. You passed it for sewer and general a couple meetings ago. And I was looking at it and I'm like, oh, I never did this.
Okay. I wasn't at that meeting, I think, so.
Or you
I don't
require
remember,
that, right?
or I don't remember doing, I might have.
Okay.
Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Item G. Item, is it G? Motion to appoint Brian Rose and Andrew Rice as seasonal DPW workers at a rate of $17.90 per hour with an effective date of April 21st, 2025.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion?
Are these returning? When they return, that means that they've enjoyed their work in prior years and come back and have that much more knowledge already under their belts.
Very good. Any other discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item H. We have a motion to
No.
retire.
Public comments.
Yeah, do you want to do the public comments
I
first?
put the H above there. So we shouldn't call it H, we should call it. Is there anybody who would like to address the board at this time? Please come forward when it's your turn. Give us your name.
Friends, Bruce.
Mary Ann Williams, Greater Baldwinsville Chamber of Commerce. Jeez, I say it so many times in a day, all of a sudden sounded odd. We have 2 events coming up through the end of the month. I want to remind everyone, hope to see everybody on Saturday morning, April 26th at 9 a.m. We're going to do the Beeville cleanup, and that's a joint effort between our chamber, Baldwinsville Rotary, Paths to Recovery Mental Health Counseling, and one of our newest members in Beeville businesses, Lot 24 Ice Cream, is very excited about it. They're going to bring a team over, and they're also going to bring refreshments over. So 9 to 11, Saturday, April 26th, we're going to gather on the path behind WT Brews. Everyone's welcome to come out and help.
Before you go on to your next, it reminded me of when we were talking about Arbor Day, a question I had for Taryn, because this is an Earth Day event, right?
Yes.
So are we making any accommodations for people who are doing Earth Day cleanups? Where do they put their bags of trash and stuff like that?
Okra has a mailer out for that.
Okay.
Then DPW is going to help collect those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the people at Rotary that organized it worked through Okra.
Okay. They
Got all
were
that registered.
leaving.
Some years, DPW has opted to park a truck at a location. I'm not sure how well that works in terms of people hauling garbage to the truck.
Right.
But if people make a pile, DPW's gone around and collected it Monday or whenever. And then there's no tipping fee, because each bag should have a Okra approved sticker on it. So
You never know how many people still smoke until you do one of these cleanups.
Thank you for letting me interrupt.
Oh, fine. And then we have our GBCC Member Showcase on Tuesday evening, April 29th, 5:30 to 8 p.m. at Anheuser-Busch. Chief, we're always excited to see you attend. We still have tickets available. You can go to our website, baldwinsvillechamber.com, big old banner ad right on the homepage. Click to buy tickets. We'll cut off ticket sales on Monday, so our caterers have time to prepare. It's a great opportunity to talk to business owners, community, some of our community members, and just have a good time at, if you haven't ever done a brewery tour, this is your opportunity. Thanks.
Do I have to stand up?
you bet.
Yes, you have to go up and announce yourself.
Rest up.
We might not know who you are.
Oh, you know that. Hi, I'm Melanie. I'm the vice president of Chamber. Apparently, I have to become president in the fall or December. Aren't we all lucky? Anyways, I'm confused. I'm a little confused. I'm trying to become Matt. The fee we're paying, we are paying $500, which is half of it. Thank you very much. But someone else is only paying $100. And I don't really understand. Can you just explain that to me more so I kind of understand? Is it based on the number of people or how much money they bring in or how many people they bring to the village or things like that?
I can take a shot if you want to correct me more.
Go ahead.
Beginning of the season, you'll have the full freight of the security deposit and all the insurances and that. So they're gonna carry that $1,500 security deposit set aside. That's for
Okay.
incidentals. That can be carried week to week.
Okay.
So you don't get to come up with that each time.
Now who's we? Like if we rent it,
Right.
you carry the insurance for us, so we don't need insurance.
Is that true?
No,
You carry the insurance.
yeah, we need insurance, that's what I thought.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
And we're just additionally insured. But as far as the fee goes, I don't know where that $500 came from. It's just, we're simply saying it's gonna be $100 per.
No.
That's what I don't
Chamber is
understand.
$500. It's like Seneca River Days, a $500. They're renting it for the day, and it's $1,000, and we've reduced it to $500.
For the food truck.
No. That's what she's questioning.
I don't understand why the
there
food
this-
truck is 100 and we're 500.
I'm confused.
When the food truck's gonna make a lot more money than we make, because we really don't make, we put it back in the village. We only pay Mary Ann, we don't pay Matt and myself, we're volunteers.
The food truck event is weekly, it's $100 a week for the food trucks.
It's,
But they come every week.
Your event is a ticketed event, correct?
I mean, I think they pay $2 at the door.
Yeah. I mean,
It's not like we're selling tickets for a Broadway show or anything, we're selling just to pay we have to hire like the people that work who are like the policemen and things like that. We pay them to come and help us and keep the village safe when we bring all these people in. So we really don't make a lot, and what we make we put in the village. That's why I don't understand. I'm just becoming president, I want to understand why we're paying so much more for trying to do good.
I think it may have something to do with the size of the event, because the food trucks will be considerably smaller than,
How many people do they bring in?
we're talking, you said between 5 and 8 trucks.
And how many do they
I heard
serve?
that,
How many do
150
these trucks
people.
serve?
300 people max each week,
Yeah.
I would say.
And you'll get a couple thousand.
And they are not ticketing people to come onto the island.
Are they
Anyone
charging
could.
for their food?
Well, you pay for
The food trucks are,
they're
yes,
independent.
but anyone else could walk onto the island and enjoy the music that they're.
We didn't even charge
performing
until
or
last year.
whatever.
So if we take our charge away, can we go to the $100 then? Because we'd be the same as a food truck, but we would just have 10 of them. What?
You're having alcohol too.
Oh, the food trucks don't serve alcohol?
no.
I don't get out a lot. Okay, so because we're serving alcohol, we pay more.
And
Well-
you're a 10-hour event compared to the food trucks are out there for maybe an hour or two. You know, it is a much larger
Okay.
event. I mean.
All right, so, but with like that $100 parameter, there'll be like something written up, like, like this is 100 because there's 300 people coming or things like that, so it's clear and understandable, because someone's gonna ask me this too, and I'm gonna have to answer them, and I'm not sure I can.
Yeah, I'm sure there's gonna be something written up, but it's not gonna be, yeah,
Okay,
Yeah, I think it'll have to be event specific.
right.
Yeah.
so it's just the discretion, like the board votes on the discretion, and it's kind of like,
We'll
The money-
evaluate it on a cost impact basis of what
Correct.
it's gonna cost us to restore the island back to the condition it was before the event started.
did we damage the island?
It happens more than, no,
What?
it happens quite a bit.
Really?
Yep.
Not with our end,
No.
Oh, okay.
That's never happened to us.
Oh, okay, I thought they were saying we damaged the island.
No.
Okay, all right, I don't know if I really am any clearer, but thanks for trying.
I also think, Melanie, the amount of money that the Baldwinsville Center for the Arts is gonna generate from their food truck events is much smaller than the amount of money that the chamber is going to generate.
The only reason we started charging the ticket price is so we didn't lose money.
Okay, well,
We don't make much. It's a community event, but heard and understood.
Perhaps in the future, we could get a better definition of what the event is.
Yes, that needs, because it will come up with other people as they try to host events. You will get pushed on what's what if it's not specified in your whatever you put together, you're gonna have problems.
Any other comments? Hearing none. Can I have a motion to move into executive session?
Motion.
Second.
I'm not anticipating any action. Okay. Thank you.